We are sorry to announce that Phil Cool has lost his voice. However, for tonight's programme, he will attempt to mime to a tape recording made at a previous performance.
Great to be here on Channel 4. And it's a while since you've seen me on TV. I've changed a bit. Eh? Do you think I suit long hair? Well, I must say it's a pleasure to be on stage again. Although next week I've got to go and make another TV show with those plonkers at the BBC. And say things like, "Hello, viewers, I'm sure you're not just tuned in out of morbid curiosity. I know you've come, you want to find out what makes me squidgy and bendy. It's no secret. I've got test tube parents. You know, when I'm doing a show in a TV studio, I always feel sorry for the poor guy that thinks he's got a real good seat and then he gets stuck right behind the camera. I'll keep moving about a bit. Okay. I've been here in Birmingham for a few days now, and I've had a bit of time to kill, so I've been doing quite a bit of sightseeing here. But the tourist board reckons Birmingham has more canals than Venice, so I thought I'll go down and check them out, you know. Didn't see any gondolas. I'm walking down the towpath, and this little kid, just been to the Gremlins film, comes zooming past on a little motorbike. Knocking all the fishermen in as he's going along. Well, it serves them right. All the prats sat in a line. They breed all their own special bait, these guys. Maggots. They all take tuna fish sandwiches along. When I was a kid, I used to enjoy annoying fishermen, you know. And, you know, distracting their attention. And you can do this yourselves, and it's great fun. And it doesn't hurt the fishermen, so it's not cruel. What you do is, supposing you're the fisherman on that bank, right, and the canal's there, you get in the opposite bank, and you do the elongated arm routine. Now, this really freaks them out, this one. They don't know what the hell to make of it. Get behind a bush first, set yourself up, and then get your arm swinging. And then off you go. Never Kids, you've got to keep them entertained. Mick Jagger's been on tour. He's took his little lad with him, James, and I've been wondering how he keeps him, happy backstage. Are you sitting comfortable, Jimmy? There once was an ugly duckling whose feathers were stubby and brown, and all his friends and so many words said, "Oh, get out of town." So he went with a... So, being on tour can be hard work. Yeah, I know, yeah. It's got its good points as well. Travelling around from town to town. Meeting lots of interesting people along the way. Different hotel every night. Being away from home for long periods of time. And a few people have asked me, Phil, when you're out on tour, do you ever, do you ever get any... No. Well, I don't let it bother me. I don't mind. See, I've had my moments. Oh, yes. In my early days, I was a real randy little rooster. Fast, too. Next. So much so, for my own personal well-being, I went on a voluntary course of chemical castration. Carlsberg Special. Well, you know what I'm talking about. And in the dance halls of yesteryear, I used to try and use the power of impressionism to chat the girls up, There's many a time I would nonchalantly glide across the dance floor and sort of go... Excuse me, gorgeous. What's your boogie? Didn't seem to work for some reason. What's the matter? Do women not go for that sort of thing? I mean, do hip chicks not dig cool people like Donald Pleasance?
I say, sweetie, let's twist.
One young girl recently responded to my advances. Just for a bit of fun, of course. I was walking past and I said to her, "Hey, honey, where have you been all my life?" She said for the first 25 years of it, I hadn't been born. And when I'm on tour, I often wonder, if people can understand my broad northern accent, Lancashire accent. But when I'm down the south of England, I'll say stuff like, I'll say, book. I'm reading a book. And they all laugh. They say, book. And to me, a book is a male rabbit. And when they say, oh, I love going to bed with a good book, I laugh. I can just picture the ears sticking out the sheets. And in and around London, people drink tea out of a cap. Would you like a cup of tea, lovey? Yeah, I'll have a cup of tea as long as there's no brill cream and dandruff in it. Stop keep calling me lovey, bogface. also on tour. You've got to do interviews, you know, to plug the shows or whatever. And the interviews are all right, but the interviewers always ask the same questions, you know. And the favourite is probably, have you ever met anyone that you do? And I try to humour them a bit, you know. Oh, yeah. I met Popeye once. In a dark, disused subway in New York. He was sort of standing in the harsh shadows going... How was it for you, Lowther? It's time for my spinach, Alice. Another favourite question is, how do you get into characters? And you can't tell people, because they're all different, you know. I suppose if you're going for a new character, you've got to try to get to the essence of the person. For instance, I've observed, whereas some people may suffer from blood pressure, Clive James, he suffers from air pressure. He's permanently £15 per square inch under the weather. You can actually see it pressing down on him. I've got a gravity problem, too. Have you got tired, greasy, unmanageable hair? You lucky bastard. Whereas, in contrast, if you're going to do, say, Roy Hattersley, you've got to stand way back from the front row. Otherwise, when you say things like, Peter Piper picked the second. Everyone gets splatter on the front row. Even me. Right. The other day, I was sitting in a restaurant, and suddenly I shouted, meal! And the restaurant owner said, listen, be patient and wait for a meal like everyone else. I said, no, my friend, meal. Meal! Meal! Meal, come sit down, meal. Listen, you're constantly getting your emotions in a twist. Constantly smiling when you're supposed to be serious and serious when you're supposed to be smiling.
Oh, come off it, Roy. Listen to my new speech. Let's be serious for a moment. That's long enough. Since this Conservative government came to power, statistics show, and statistics don't lie, statistics show that there are now more homeless people living rough on the streets than ever before. And the suicide rate is trouble.
I reckon one day politics will eat itself or disappear of its own. And it'll be replaced by a non-politics. The Green Movement, perhaps. Let's just take a quick look into the future. It's now the year 2004. John Lennon's song Imagine has turned to reality. Peace, once given a chance, unflourished. And now I'm standing here in this unpolluted atmosphere of unconditional love. And I can honestly say I am absolutely bored shitless. Hello. Let's take a look at the weather, shall we? Oh,
it's horrible.
Good proper pair of specs. I don't like using too many props, but I must admit, the odd bit of hair on the head adds that extra special bit of difference that you wouldn't otherwise get. It sort of frames the face, you know, and gives you a certain look that you wouldn't otherwise achieve. I'll try and show you what I mean. Hi. Well, I am. Just with life. You see, life and I have a relationship. I love life and life loves me. But listen, everyone. Brace yourselves. I'm going to swear. Gosh. Well, of course, you sussed it. I'm not really Cliff. Then who am I? Well, you've probably seen me on Saturday Superstore, Top of the Pops. Answers on a postcard, please, to the Mike Reed Identity Crisis, BBC TV.
Oh, it's nice to have a couple of wimps on the show, don't you think so, ladies and gentlemen? Nice to have a couple of wimps on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you've got to have your say, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, yours truly, little Benji has gone back to his... little Benji has gone back to his original student, Luke. Well, you've got to keep moving on. Got to keep changing the old appearance, ladies and gentlemen, even if it's only to keep one step ahead of those bastard impressionists. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why we comedians never stop for a rest? No commas, no full stops, no abbreviations. That's because we are frightened. We are frightened of silence, ladies and gentlemen. We are frightened that you will not laugh at what we say, and that's why we keep going like bleeding Nijinsky, ladies and gentlemen. There was a time when I thought I was going to explode, ladies and gentlemen, but gradually over the years, you learn to slow down, and you learn to put the spaces in the right places. And gradually, that little seed of confidence, that tiny little seed of confidence starts to bloom. It starts to blossom, ladies and gentlemen, and before you know it, you have all those millions and millions of little farties eating out of your hand. If you've laughed tonight, my name is Ben Elton. If you haven't laughed, it's still Ben Elton, you bastards. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, I wrote the young ones. Oh, listen to Benji, I wrote the young ones. I am the bleeding young ones.
There's no sick person, this bitch.
You cretins.
'Tis I, Benjamin Elton.
Impressionist extraordinaire.
I'm so bloody brilliant, I can practically slip into anybody. Oh, you are not slipping into me, you bastard.
I hope you caught what Ben was saying there. He was rattling on a bit, I barely caught it myself. But he was saying that comedians are frightened of silence. You know, they're frightened of delivering the best line, you know. And it's like a morgue out there. It's really scary. So to prevent that from happening, they talk really fast if they come to a bit that they're not quite sure about, and it covers it up and it doesn't seem embarrassing and eggy, you see, and they get away with it. It's a fact. Comedians are frightened of silence. Couldn't give a toss myself. It works differently with me, you see. As a matter of fact, if you don't laugh at what I say, that's okay, because when that happens, I get a strange kind of a turn on from it, you know. So bear that in mind, will you? When you're not laughing, out there, I'll be having a ball. You know something? I've never done a chat show yet. I've done the little bitty ones, you know, like local TV and radio. But never a big one. To be honest, I'm scared if people get my name wrong. It's happened before. Turned up at one place. Phil Toole. Yeah. I arrived at the nurse's annual dinner dance. My name was up in lights. Phil Stool. Wogan's been on me for me a few times. And I thought, should I do Terry's show this time? And I thought, I better not. All I said about him over the years, what's he going to say? What's he going to think? Well, we got a great crowd in tonight. As always here at Shepherd's Bush. Wibble wobble tippy toe. Shufty smile. Well, just let me say that it's great to be back after a couple of weeks' halt. Soaking up the old Mediterranean sun. Don't go adjusting your set at home, will you? I really am bright orange. Well, we've all heard about satellite TV. Well, tonight, we're going to use the wonders of modern science to go via satellite across the Atlantic, where Michael Crawford should be waiting for us right now in his dressing room on Broadway. So come on, let's see if we can catch him between shows, shall we? Come on. Michael, listen. After your triumph, great triumph, in musicals, serious musicals, like Barnum and Phantom, do you ever find that the old some others do have 'em nonsense, you know, the old Frank Spencer, do you find that he keeps manifesting through in every character you've ever played since?
I didn't quite catch that, Terry. Still nothing, I'm afraid.
I think we've lost him. Still, perhaps we could come back to him a little later. But meanwhile, let's stay that side of the big pond. The Atlantic. And drop in on an old wild westerner, one who's just retired a while back, out to sunny California. How's things out on the ranch, old buddy? And tell us, how does it feel now that you're not president anymore?
I'm not president anymore?
How the hell he ever got elected president, I'll never know. Still, let's forget about him. I think we already have. But let's stay that side of the US of A. And this time, let's drop in on Dallas, shall we? Come on. How's things out on South Fork, old buddy?
Well, I'm doing just fine, Till. I've got so many bullet holes I can hardly hold my liquor no more. There's things going on here in Dallas you would not believe, Till. That whimpery brother Bobby of mine keeps coming up saying stupid, dumb things like, "Oh, JR, why are you so bad?" And I say, "You talk loud and I'll be good."
Listen. JR, do you realize that there's a bendy-faced comedian over in England who reckons you walk like you're blocked in your pants?
Walk like a plopper pants, huh? What the hell's he know anyhow? Plop my goddamn pants.
My guest tonight
He's so cuddly and friendly and warm that I've arranged for the seats to be moved closer together. So that a bit of it might rub off on me. And with that smile of his, he can brighten up any shower. Even this lot. So I'll give a warm, sunny welcome to Ian McCaskill. Ian McCaskill. Ian, relax. Make yourself comfy. Ian, let me first say thanks for breezing in on us. Like a refreshing little raindrop. I said he was cuddly, didn't I? Ian, tell us, since you've become a household, someone who's on TV a lot. I mean, you must get recognised when you're out and about.
I do get recognised, Terry, almost every day.
So do I. Only yesterday. Outside Harrods, signing autographs. For 4.5 hours I was. I just couldn't get away. But Ian, listen. Just relax. Listen, it takes a lot of people. And it takes a lot of teamwork to predict the weather. But do you think that you've been chosen to deliver that prediction? Because if it's wrong, nobody could get angry at such a cuddly character.
There's nothing like that, Terry. I got the job by plain hard work. Nothing wrong.
I know what you mean. I'm a bit of a grafter myself. Oh, but all now as I am. And for what? A measly few $100,000 a year. I don't know why the hell I do it. It must be love. Ian, listen.
Terry, do you think I could get a few ones in Elgiva?
Ian, let me just say, it's been a pleasure listening to you. Thanks for coming on the show. Ian McCaskill, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's how to turn Blarney into Bloney. You didn't think that was very funny, did you? I don't think that was a very funny line. Good. I'll have to slip a few more of those in. I know I was a bit late starting tonight, and you've been waiting, of course. I knew I was late when I was in the dressing room as well, and I thought, Sodom. Why worry about time? But people do, you know. I never worry about time. I haven't even got a watch, you know. And the fact that I haven't got a watch means I can have a bit more fun. Hey, do this yourselves. Get rid of your watch. Get a ballpoint pen instead. And when you're really bored on a bus station or whatever, draw a watch on your wrist. A big one. Numbers. Fingers. The whole bit, you know, strap buckle. Hey, give yourself an expensive one.
And then you go up to someone, you say, "Excuse me, have you got the right time, please?" And he goes, 3:15 precisely. And you go, "Oh, mine stopped, see." You say? Put mine a couple of minutes fast if you don't mind. Always like mine a couple of minutes fast. And then a couple of minutes later, somebody's bound to come up to you, right? "Excuse me, have you got the right time, please?" Yeah, I've now. 3:17. He wanders off, scratching his head. "What kind of a loon? He's always watching his wrist with a bar out." But the payoff comes when he goes to the guy you've asked 2 minutes earlier. "Excuse me, have you got the right time, please?" 3:17 precisely. I think we're just into the twilight zone. That's a weird one, eh? The Twilight Zone. That's usually got a time theme running through it. A lot of sci-fi and stuff, and late on TV, you know. It's all like 50s black and white stuff mostly. It's okay, but there's only one problem with 50s black and white sci-fi. They only have one sound effect for every film, and you recognise it. You recognise it as soon as you hear it. It went...
There's a man coming out of the forest, grandfather.
Bring my shotgun, Martha. Dung rascal's got funny eyes.
More modern sci-fi, shows and stuff and films have a time theme too. What about Star Trek? And they're always warp factor 4 in it all over the place. Yeah. I don't know whether you've seen the latest. I saw the latest film. What was it called? The Last Frontier. The Final Frontier. That's it. If you've not seen it and someone drags you along to see it, take a torch with you. And a book. Not a book. You'll have to pay for 2 then. I prefer the series myself, you know. Catus log, start date 6.9704326896014. 7963. And about so much. So here we are back in the series. We're all young again. Not a too-paying sight. Let's celebrate. Okay, everyone. Phasers on tickle. Oh, that's nice, Scotty. That's nice. Oh, cut it out, Scotty. Cut it out. Cut it out. Come on. Spock, boogie.
May I remind you, Captain, that Vulcans don't dance.
Okay, don't Vulcan dance. See if I care.
Cat is long. Start at 6.970, same as before. Only this time, summer. Dr. McCoy, Mr. Spock, Mr. Zulu, myself, we're all beamed down to this strange planet. Oh, yes, and we also took along with us some insignificant member of the crew who was obviously going to get killed.
They always did that. Anybody here tonight believe in the existence of extraterrestrials living among us, masquerading as humans? I asked one audience that, and some joker went... It's a serious question. Anybody? Eh? Believe in the existence of extraterrestrials? Yeah. No, not you. The guy behind you with the luminous eyes. I think it's pretty feasible. It's a bit arrogant to think that we're the only ones in the universe. But the skeptics say, if they exist, why haven't they shown themselves? Well, just think about it. It seems pretty obvious to me. You've got to put yourself in their position. If you were them, would you land here? I mean, for instance, just imagine hovering over South Africa. What kind of a reception would you get?
Come on, don't be frightened. We're not going to treat you any different just because you're green.
I don't think they'll land in England. But they could communicate by jamming the airwaves. What do you think, eh? And appearing on our television screens, right in the middle of News at 10 with Alistair Burnett. The rail strike is now official. Today, top world scientists agreed that the Earth's magnetic force is being distorted by some strange, unexplained force. And all over the globe, electrical equipment and appliances are going on the blink. And it has been... He'll tell you all what's staring at there.
Or to use my native tongue. You humans cannot comprehend my immensity. My head alone is the size of the star you call the sun.
Yeah, the sun.
And my single testicle is the size of planet Saturn, although it hasn't got any rings around it. And my extra testicle is more like Mars, red and crinkly, with little craters. I was traveling in deep space when I received your faint distress signal. Neighbor, everybody needs to Where's the little
That there is no cause for alarm. Well, that's it. Good night. you see me on the Royal Gala for the Prince's Trust? Oh. You all blinked at the same time, didn't you? I was only on for a couple of minutes, and I thought, was it worth doing for a couple of minutes? And then I thought, of course it was, yeah. It was a good cause. And there was a great party afterwards. It was at the London Palladium, and there they've got a suite called the Cinderella Suite. And after the show, everybody mows it on to the Cinderella Suite. And so it was full of celebs and stars, and royalty all mingling about and chatting, and everybody's drinking best champagne out of crystal glasses. Hello. Except Jerry Hall, you know, she had a chipped enamel mug with Bovril in it. And I was in a corner talking to Ben Elton about comedy. And before I'd actually started talking to Ben, I'd done the rounds, you know, chatted to a few people, a few friends and stuff. But I never got to talk to my hero, Sean Connery. You know. He was always talking to someone else, you know. And I didn't feel like going up and going, hello, Sean. You know what I mean? Anyway, I carried on talking to Ben Elton, and I was telling him how depressed I was about not being able to get certain impressions just bob on, you know, just bang on. And it was really getting me down. I was getting really fed up. I was telling Ben this when suddenly Sean Connery, good man, up on his tiptoes, and he shouted right over the heads of all the crowd, you know.
Phil! Hello there, Bendy. I saw your impression of me on TV. It was crap. I don't think you quite got the laugh right.
Prince Charles came over. He says, Mr. Cool, may I congratulate... I said, hang on, pal, can't you see I'm talking to Ben Elton? I didn't really. That was a joke. No, he's a good friend of mine, Prince Charles. He doesn't know it, like. But we've got a lot in common, he and I. Both born in 1948. Both going bald, slowly. Same initials. And he's really into architecture. I don't know whether you've heard that or not.
It is indeed true. And I do have a passion for the inner cities, where vandalism is rife. Only this morning I reprimanded my young son, William. He was, in fact, defacing the walls of Buckingham Palace with an aerosol. Grandma rules UK. Oh, thank you. I'm sure he would appreciate that. And I do have an affection for the classical things in life. Take music, for instance. Whereas my good lady wife Diana prefers more modern rhythmic sounds, like dross or wet drop drip. And of course, Diana's favorite band is Dire Straits. And sometimes, when I'm alone in my room, I look into the mirror and I gaze at my reflection. And I think, if only